Hey there, and welcome back to the Everyday Wholeness Show with our good friend Janet Uribe and myself, Karen Stultz, where we help you to honor the fact that we are whole and give you tips and hints as to what wholeness is all about and how we are whole. And today, our guides, Janet's guides, our guides, because we're all in this together, are going to be talking about the ideas that torment us. I mean, how many of us actually are tormented about ideas? I pulled a card today, Janet, and actually it did say, look at your ideas, follow through with your ideas, the claircognizance, the thoughts, everything. That is what guide us quite often.
Oh my gosh.
God. Isn't that wonderful? So I love the fact that the guides gave us that title.
I know, it's really funny. Well, I think it's really funny because I've been spending the last several, maybe 6 to 8 weeks, kind of looking at how my ideas do create panic and turmoil and frustration and overwhelm and anxiety and all of these things that make us human. But also kind of get me excited and give me hope of something to look forward to. And, I also work with children. So when I get ideas with them, they kind of giggle because I start to like jump and my hands start to shake and I just say, yeah, let's do this. And so, the ideas can be the tormentor and the felicity. But which one are you at today?
Well, this is the tormenting ideas that we were talking about, but you're absolutely right. Are they really tormenting, or are they just a little bit of a pushing to have us move in a different direction?
Yeah.
To live our highest and wholeness self.
Absolutely. So they gave me 20 years of information in the 3 minutes that we've been at already. And I told them that's a lot. I don't even know where to begin. So let's see what they bring up first. Okay. All right. There's ideas, and then there's ideas. And there's the ideas that come to us naturally, that excite us, that create divine inspiration, that create inspired moves and direction. And then there's the ideas that get in the way of those ideas. And they're typically based on social constructs, ideologies, schooling, and they really focus more on the if this, then that. This has to be completed before that. And sometimes it's not to say that, yes, we don't need to execute one project at a time and make momentum, but they can oftentimes also keep us in the, well, I will buy a house when I have my family.
Yes.
Or I will pursue this next career move once I have X amount in the bank. And so we'll create these ideas that literally negate the idea that is inspiring and fulfilling in the heart of that moment. I'll give you a personal example. My mentor offered me work with her some time ago, and I've kind of like gotten my feet wet and then backed out, and then gotten my feet wet and then backed out, and get my feet wet and then back out. And then the thing is, I do know that truthfully, when I touch something, truly, wholeheartedly, it turns to gold. But I get stuck in my ideas of, well, I'm also single parenting. Or, I also have these other businesses happening all simultaneously at the same time. And these other ideas stop me from what would get me really excited about life. And, it's not to say I don't have excitement in some of those ideas as well. It's just that I'm looking for more of that out the box challenge that just motivates me like no other. So ultimately, friends, what are the ideas that get in the way of your ideas?
Yeah, our ideas. And what is keeping you? You have your dreams, you have your idea, you have your dream. It's moving forward, created an awesome life success. It is moving forward. And yet you don't take those action steps because another idea gets in the way. Now, not to say that that other idea isn't equally important, but it does seem to get in the way sometimes, so that we find our excuse to procrastinate, to not move forward. I love that idea of, yeah, I will buy a house when I have so much money in the bank. I will change careers when I have so much money in the bank. I will do this, that, and the other thing when this occurs. But what are we doing to make sure that that occurs? What are the action steps that we are doing to make sure that that does occur? And it's important to realize that things can happen without our being instigated in it. It's simply, or even involved in it sometimes. Sometimes it's just that thought.
Yeah. And I'm going to give you what's coming in next, which I think is fascinating, because the energy of those of us who are here on Earth right now didn't come here to wait. So
really, our instantaneous need to have everything done right this second in time is not.
We are and we are officially generations of immediate gratification.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a new construct that we have created as a collective society for ourselves. So does it make sense to wait? And then what I hear collectively for all of us is, at the same time, for those of you who are waiting, and it's not to say planning is not good. Planning's healthy. Planning gives organization. It helps you prevent, certain fires from happening often as well. But I'm also hearing that for those of us who are waiting and delaying, sorry, my cat is making noises. Those of us who are waiting and delaying making the next steps, if you aren't making those little steps for yourself, naturally integrating them into your life, doing those pieces that'll help you, then the universe will help you make those steps. And I think it's funny because the help from the universe doesn't often look like what we would want it to look like. Sometimes it's a big old surprise. Sometimes it's like I am out of control and I don't know what I'm going to do next. Why is everything falling apart? And really, it's just the information being presented for you to finally make a decision. For me, because I love career, and that's where I get most of my growth from, I apply everything to everything. I got a few job offers in the last week. And so to me, when that starts happening, I'm like, oh, we're about to make a jump, aren't we? Because you're going to make me decide. All right, let's decide. So it's fascinating to me, friends, because we'll sit there and we'll get real angry with the universe when they present us that adversity that forces you to change, forces you to jump, forces you to switch jobs, forces you to consider whether or not you want another kid, forces you to look at these things. But when the cards are all in our hands, first this, then that. I'm going to wait for this piece to do that piece. And I guess my question for you becomes, what are you waiting for?
Yeah. It's important to take the action, but one thing I have learned is that the opportunities are endless, absolutely endless.
Yes.
And I've also learned, and I've lost a lot of money on my own, with my own choosing, with my own desires, and I've learned from all of that. So it's not losing so much, but I'm not where I want to be because I have paid big bucks to opportunities that showed up that were not really opportunities that were right for me. They were great opportunities for some people, but not for me. And that's maybe because I was not clear enough in those opportunities. So jumping in, because like you say, you might be jumping into a fire. So it might not be a bad thing to step back and look at the pros and cons and take stock in exactly those thoughts, those desires that you have been thinking.
Oh my goodness, yes. And then there's that whole other component that builds into the self related to all of this, right? So are your ideas get in the way of your ideas? The idea here being, do you even know what your ideas are versus those of another?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that. Yes. And that's where the torment actually starts showing up. Those ideas that are not yours, that that we take on from others or whatever. Or like this past week, I have to share with you, Janet.
Go for it.
Let's see, was it Friday night? Yeah. Had a great day all day Friday. Got lots done. It was an awesome day. I was going out that evening. I wanted to get one more little bit of things done before I left. And my computer started being very wonky. My Microsoft was not allowing me to get to my desktop. So I couldn't move forward with anything because I couldn't click anything and I couldn't get out of it. It allowed me to look at this ad for Microsoft, but I could not get out of the ad. I couldn't accept or decline the ad. I couldn't do anything. So I tried 5 times to force the stop and go back, nothing. Okay. Step back from the computer before you put your fist through it.
Yeah.
And walk away and say, all right, what is this trying to tell me? That was my question as it progressed all day, Saturday and Sunday. And what is this trying to tell me? Because sometimes it would let me in and sometimes it wouldn't. And so when it let me in, I kept it and I got a lot of work done and said, great. And then it wouldn't let me in the next time. So, all right, what was that trying to tell me? And I think maybe it was just as you were talking about, there are things that show up that are kind of forcing you. I mean, I had the thought, I was going out that night. I was focused on having a good time on Friday night with friends and a concert and having a good time. And I said, I'm not going to work past 2:30 in the afternoon. Well, guess what? It was 2:45 and my computer went down. Do you think I might have been helped? Because I had said I didn't want to work past 2:30 and I wanted to go out and have a good time. And I had to put on a lot of essential oils to get to that point, to get those thoughts down to a point where I could say, so be it. What is it that I need to learn?
I relate to that very much so. It's great because, I've put on certain accountabilities, I would say, even with the universe of, okay, we'll take this, won't take that. We'll take that, won't take this. And lately, I've been getting a variety of signs of, remember you said you would take this. And I didn't get clear on how many or how many times or how often.
Yeah. Isn't it fun the way that happens? It really
is fun.
It's like, yeah. And when I was starting off in all of this, I said, yeah, you gave me exactly what I asked for. I have to be clearer in what I asked for.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the biggest takeaway with what they gave us, right, is how are you authentically identifying your ideas and living out that truth for yourself? May it present in just the authenticity, or may it present as an inspiration or a project or a major life decision? How are you honoring your ideas for yourself? And then there's, I've heard a lot of mentors and teachers also suggest immediately acting on them. Even if you don't have all these things before you to do it, but saying the yes, this is my very conscious yes. I think that's a great idea. I would like to pursue that. I would like it. Show me what to do. And then moving in that direction.
And I think that gets into the feelings too. When you are aware and allow those feelings to show up, it's a very easy yes when you are filled with joy thinking about it.
Absolutely.
And it's a very easy no when it's filling you with dread.
Absolutely.
Even though the dreaded thing may actually be more beneficial for you in the long run, but we don't know that, right?
So true.
Yeah.
So true. Oh my goodness, friend. Well,
Fun.
ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between those identities, thank you. And this is just a little nudge from Karen and I. Pursue yourself. Pursue your ideas. Experiment with them. It doesn't mean that every single one of them is going to pan out. Like Karen said, sometimes there's something in there and something not panning out for you. What did you gather from that experience? What information did you learn there? Sometimes learning what you don't want is key to really figuring out what you do want.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So until we meet again, be whole. Bye-bye for now.
Bye, friends.